So Tesla stock has had a tremendous, monstrous rally in the last few trading sessions, which is why on my channel for the last few videos, I've been talking heavily about Tesla. And along with that, recently on my YouTube channel's community post, I mentioned how Tesla is one of the most shorted mega cap growth names in the stock market currently. And with so many short sellers for Tesla, while it continues to rally up, could also cause somewhat of a mini short squeeze. And so with that being said, guys, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, consider hitting that subscribe button now so that you don't miss out on any future updates regarding Tesla or any other opportunities in the market. And recently in the Push and Profit private group, I mentioned how we have a 3-day weekend because of Juneteenth, and how because we have a 3-day weekend, we are possibly going to close on Friday higher for Tesla because short sellers like to close their positions on 3-day weekends, because if we have a massive catalyst for Tesla, well, that could screw over short sellers, and long behold, we had Tesla close higher on Friday's trading session. But with that being said, I also want to highlight something else I mentioned in the Push and Profit private group. Now, if you guys want to have access to this Push and Profit private group, make sure to check out the first link in the description of this video. But I want to show you guys something that I recently said. So I said that we've been riding the momentum of a cyclical bull market and monitoring the underpinnings of a secular bear market for actionable signals of opportunities or strategic shifts. So to kind of summarize what I mean by this is that in the short term right now, it's a great time to take advantage of this bullish momentum. However, when we look at things from a macroeconomic perspective, things don't look too good. For example, when you take a look at the leading economic indicator, we see that it has continuously been trending downwards, which kind of signals that a recession is coming in the near future. But it also highlighted that when we take a look at all the rate hikes that the Federal Reserve has recently done, it typically takes about 1 year for the economy to actually feel the impacts of the rate hikes. And so far, we've only really felt, a few rate hikes, like the 25 basis points that happened in March 17th, the 50 basis points that happened in May 5th, and then the 75 basis points increase that happened in June 16th. Now, we've had the Federal Reserve hike up to 5%. So really, the economy has only felt 30% of the rate hikes that the Federal Reserve has already done, and yet with the 30% that the economy has already felt, we've seen, regional banks collapse. And so there's more economic pain coming into the economy as we start to feel the more aggressive rate hikes that the Federal Reserve has done in the past. And so when we take a look at the S&P 500, we've seen this massive V-shaped rally. However, one of the things I've been telling the Push and Profit private group is that perhaps we may want to switch out of the S&P 500 index ETF, which is weighted by all of the tech-heavy, companies, all these mega cap tech companies, and kind of switch over to ticker symbol RSP, which is the S&P 500 but equally weighted, because it's not going to have that huge weight from these tech companies, right? And the reason I say this is simply because a lot of the tech companies have rallied so much that it wouldn't make sense to kind of have a little bit of a pullback, as a lot of institutional investors may want to take some profits off the table. And so a best way to really mitigate risk is kind of by switching over to the equally weighted index, because it's not so cap weighted by all these heavy, tech companies. And so we could still see, RSP, which is the equal weighted index, actually continue rallying, even if we see the overall S&P or the QQQ NASDAQ index ETF kind of trend downwards. But to clarify, I'm not being a full-time bear over here. I am still very optimistic and bullish for the market, especially for Tesla stock as we head closer to 2030, simply because of the fundamentals for Tesla, which I've highlighted in several other videos. However, one of the things I'm kind of warning people that are in the Push and Profit private group and publicly on YouTube is that, we have a little bit of an economic headwind coming into the future. For example, in August is when we start to have, student loans having to be repaid. And so that could drain, about $5 billion worth of, consumer capital each month, right? Because we obviously know that student loans, impact around 45 million Americans, right? And so the average payment that these Americans are going to have to pay is, $400. So that's going to really weaken consumers' pockets, because now, guess what? People that have student loans, they didn't have to pay it before, but now all of a sudden they have a $400 dollar monthly bill that they have to be able to pay for, and that's going to weaken consumer pockets, which could honestly slip into corporate earnings, and we may see a little bit of a recession in corporate earnings, which of course is going to hurt the fundamentals for companies, even companies like Tesla that have great fundamentals. So this is why I'm not being a full-on bear, but I am kind of being a little cautious as we are at these elevated levels. And so when it comes down to Tesla from a short-term perspective of trading, I don't plan on shorting Tesla as it's very dangerous to short Tesla at the moment, especially that a potential short squeeze could happen. However, I'm moving cautiously and strategically with Tesla in the short term. Now, when it comes to my long-term portfolio, because obviously I have exposure to Tesla in my long-term portfolio, and obviously investing long-term and trading short-term are two separate vehicles that you shouldn't mix. And my long-term, portfolio, I'm honestly still riding Tesla upwards, and I don't plan to actually buy Tesla until maybe there's a dip. I don't plan on adding more as we continue running up because, I think that there may be a little bit of a buying opportunity in the near future. And so I'm really just letting Tesla ride in my long-term portfolio and just waiting for an opportunity to really buy a dip after there's confirmation of an uptrend, right? There's this famous quote by Warren Buffett that I may butcher, but it goes somewhere along the lines that be fearful when everyone's greedy, but be greedy when everyone's fearful. And so right now, obviously the market's very greedy. We've seen a lot of these tech companies rally heavily. And so I really don't plan on, buying more. I'm actually fearful, as the Warren Buffett quote goes, for my long-term portfolio, and really just, I'm going to be greedy when everyone's fearful, right? So with that being said, hopefully, you guys enjoyed this video. Again, there is a coupon link for the Push and Profit private group that does expire midnight for Father's Day, so definitely take advantage of that coupon code. It's going to be the first link in the description of this video, so you have access to my daily briefings in the Push and Profit private group, where every single day I talk about what stocks I'm looking to trade or invest in and the reason why. So definitely take advantage of that coupon code before it expires. And with that being said, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and make sure to watch this next video right over here, and I'll see you guys on that next video. Take care.